some calls. Ask Baldy anything. Ask Baldy anything. Let's go to Adam in the city.
Oh,
Adam in the city. You'll be first on deck here. Adam.
Full line split.
They love you, Baldy.
We're talking Jimmy G or KD or
Draymond Green.
Or Draymond Green, the way these lines lit up.
They don't light up like this for Steph, Baldy. Adam in the city. What's happening?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on, Baldy. Welcome back to the SF. I just wanted to ask a question for you. Like, the breakdowns are amazing. You obviously know the game in and out. Would you ever consider being like a color analyst on like live TV, kind of like Romo, kind of like Olsen? Like, would you ever consider doing that?
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay, yeah.
He's young. He doesn't know.
No, I did that at Fox for 12 years. Yeah. So I mean, Fox just rotates their guys. Greg Olsen is in there right now,
doing a good job.
But he was fine. Greg's good, and Kevin Burkhardt's fantastic. And so they're good. But like they just rotate their lineup. I worked with Kurt Menefee, Joe Buck, Pat Summerall, Kenny Albert, Dick Stockton. I had a good 12-year run. It was a lot of fun. But I do it on the national radio now. But I'll do the Hula Bowl on TV this year.
Work with my guy Sam Rosen because the Niners are so bad, and I love Sam Rosen. But we got Sam Rosen and Tim Ryan every single week for like a 5-year stretch.
Sam was great.
Is Brady going to be any good at that? You think? I have a hard time seeing it.
I don't see it.
Yeah,
I don't see it. First of all, there's very little time for an analyst to actually teach you anything.
Huh.
You got 12 seconds. There's a lot of promotions. Some days you walk out of the booth and you wonder if he even. I was talking to Jonathan Vilma about this the other day, and sometimes you come out of the booth and you're like, "Do we even talk about football?" Like you're like, "I got to, like you're on a talk back to your producer and you're like, "Give me the end zone angle. I want to show this coverage."
Yeah,
and they're like, "You don't have time." It's no huddle, and they're going fast, and they're up the line of scrimmage ball. We can't get to it. Well, can you save it and come back to it? And then it's gone.
Well, that's my biggest beef, just in general. As a diehard sports fan, there's so many times where there's a prepackaged something that has to be inserted, and you're like, "Wait a minute! I wanted to see that replay of that play that just happened."
TV moves fast.
So what happens though to that, Joe, is. Some producers, everybody's different, but some producers just want to jam this stuff in.
Gotcha.
They think that's great TV.
Yep. The narrative.
Yep. And you're sitting up there going, you're rolling your eyes, going, honestly, like, can that have waited?
Yeah.
Like, there's that in the right sign?
On their end, it's
Taylor
like time
Swift.
markers. They got to do it.
You honestly should think about having Joe and Bonte and who you're talking to. And who you're producing for.
Yep.
And like this guy, Joe wants to see this replay of Debo and how he got that wide open.
Yes.
Yep. And this producer down there is like, "Ooh, I've got this cool thing that we want to show."
Right.
Like, no. It's not cool.
And they do that because they worked all week on it, right?
Yeah,
So they have to get in, and it's like, Saturday
night, we always have this big production meeting, and we put up every graphic.
And you go through how many of them?
We go through all of them.
Oh, really?
And so, San Francisco on third downs this year, blah, blah, blah. It's just one after another. And I always tell these guys, like, I never wanted to, some BA, broadcast associate that worked on it all week. Like, you don't want to make them feel bad.
Yeah.
But, like, if you had to read the graphic, and you're trying to figure it out. Like, if you can't recognize what it means right away, it's just too much.
That's a great point. Yeah. What do you think of Romo? I like Romo. Some people don't.
He's a likable guy. I saw him in Philadelphia for the Buffalo game, and, I feel like Tony's really good. I like the personal touch of talking to the guys before the game. I love that. And, just seeing the mood and what they have to say, and sometimes the guys are very approachable pregame. He doesn't do that. Tony sits up. He likes the view from 10,000 feet, which is fine. There's all different ways of doing it. But I like going down there and really getting the last second insight.
Yeah.
Because what you're trying to do is everybody is on their phones all week. Everybody knows every stat. They kind of know what Debo just said about, the Eagles, whatever. But, like, down there in the field, you can get up to the minute, like, fresh stuff that you can use during a broadcast.
All right, we got.
Let's go out to the lines. Because like Aikman, every single week I watch Aikman, he has some nugget from a sit down that week that I had never heard about
Joe
my
Buck
team,
too.
and
that's a big Joe Buck thing. Joe feels that way.
He's so good at that.
Joe Buck joined us, and he was talking about that.
So
I learned this, and this guy's going to play it. I was like, oh wow, this guy's reporting this. But I think Aikman and Buck, Aikman and Buck are so good. Let's go to Jordan in Union City. Jordan used to play at Stanford.
Okay.
Used to play at Stanford
for who?
For David Shaw. David Shaw.
Okay, all right.
So he's on those teams with McCaffrey. J-Dub, what's happening?
What's up, buddy?
What's going on, y'all? And I know y'all were talking about two-way guys, so I'm sure, Baldy, you remember Owen Marisic, too, who played linebacker and fullback at Stanford a little earlier.
Sure.
But, my question for you is, as an offensive lineman, what was, like, the type of build of a pass rusher, right? You got the long, lengthy guys or speed guys, power guys. What was the type of build that was the toughest for you to block, and also what was the type that was the easiest for you to block?
Well, I mean, to this day, they've never, ever replicated Reggie White. There's nobody that looks like Reggie.
I love Reggie.
They're built like Reggie. I mean, we had an electronic scale in our locker room in Philadelphia, and when it got to December, this time of the year, Reggie wasn't a big workout guy. I mean, he'd step on the scale, and the thing would be at 325 and climbing, and you get off.
Yeah.
He didn't want to see what the final number was. But yet you could still, he was still dunking basketballs at Tennessee 2 at a time. Those big guys that had that type of power, that could really make you look bad, those are the guys that bothered me the most.
Are we in the golden era of pass rushers right now? Because I see a guy at UCLA. I didn't watch much UCLA football. Latu, I think his name is. He's coming off the edge, sacking quarterbacks. You were talking in the green room about the guys at UW, Washington. We'll see if he gets Texas. It feels like pass rushers now are the premier
it's a passing game. Yeah. So, you build your team, you find your quarterback, and then you find guys that can get to the quarterback, and then you find guys that can protect the quarterback. That's kind of, and vice versa. Or you find the protectors, and then you get the guys that can get there. And that's kind of how you build your team. And so I just feel like guys are getting more opportunities to rush the quarterback, and because of the number of passes that teams are throwing, and then there's so many empty sets right now. So, I mean, there's ways to get home, and there's some things that bother me in this league about protections, but
what is that? What?
Well, if the 49ers are an empty set this week against Seattle, you can bet at some point that they're going to bring 3 to the weak side. And they're going to drop their safety down, Quandre Diggs, and he's going to cover McCaffrey or Debo, whoever's in the slot. And you're going to get a free hitter at Brock Purdy. And most teams right now in this league, unfortunately, don't either have an answer to that, or their quarterback is just flushed or hit. And the play's dead. Like, you've got to have an answer to it. And so it's either a sight adjust or it's a hot read. And I see this every week. Buffalo does it all the time. And they did it to Washington twice. And Sam Howell's just getting crushed. And you're getting an easy sack, and it's just preventable.
Yeah, that's good. You bring up real quickly, and I know we're going to go back to the calls, guys that don't work out but are freaks of nature. You tell me if this is true, because I know you're infatuated with Trent Williams. I saw Eric Armstead up close and personal. I said to be the largest human being I've ever seen. Then Trent Williams came out onto the field.
Chop swat.
And I go, no, that's the largest human being I've ever seen. I don't know if you know this, Baldy. I'm not a big guy. So I'm watching Trent Williams, and I heard a story, and you tell me if this is true or not. He's not a big workout guy. And I heard that they got this is however many years ago, they got a new weight conditioning guy, and the guy was hounding Trent to get into the weight room. And Trent finally begrudgingly went into the weight room and broke all the records and then walked out and went straight to the cafeteria. Have you heard the same story about
I haven't heard that. If I see him on Sunday, I'll ask him about it.
I heard he's a freak.
He's East Texas country boy strength. Was he from Longport, Texas? I mean, he's just, he just has that natural strength. But, his whole key is he's a fast twitch guy. If you measured his, red cells versus white cells, he's just fast twitch. He's red, so his feet move quick. Like, I posted a thing of him warming up against Pittsburgh this year. It went viral. But his movement. That's what you study when you study these guys is the movement. But then just the natural power and natural light feet on a big man. It's rare.
That's I love the way you said chop swat the other day. Chop swat, just on the fly. I almost think sometimes it's scripted, Baldy, but how dare I disrespect you?
And now I'm looking for somebody else to hit.
Look at chop swat. Look at this chop swat.
I never know. Honestly, I never know what I'm going to say.
That's why it's so great. It's so good. That's why I got to. Listen, we have a caller that's about to come up right now. I don't know why I'm doing this to you, Baldy.
Give it to me.
Chaskey's going to roll his eyes, but we never know what Tony in Oakland's going to say.
Okay, good.
So let's bring him onto the line.
I like
Tony, ask Baldy anything, because we never know what direction he's going into.
Good morning. Okay, you guys are always asking me about Debo. Okay, this is the thing. The stadium is the new church and filled with football warrior monks, and Debo is the preacher. And this is why. The guy is lit from his fearless center. And that smile of his, everyone has potential. And that guy is the electric current that fires up the team and makes it into a team, not parts, but a unified whole. The reason why you need him, and then you have Purdy, because Purdy is that silent type where you feel that warrior pillar inside, but not many people can feel that kind of stuff. So Debo, he lights up, and everyone can attach to that. And he's kind of like
Tony, do you have a question?
Tony's cooking right now.
Tony. All right. I want to hear the rest of this little tale, but can you get to the question for Baldy for me?
Okay, the question is, this is the question. The question is, you were talking about how to measure a player, all right? And usually everyone's looking at the parts, how big, this, that, and the other. But Baldy, are you one of those people that can feel into a person and know immediately? They don't even have to move. You don't even have to weigh them. Can you tell?
I read auras, Tony. Yeah, I can read the aura. As soon as Debo puts that grill in his mouth, game day, it seems like the transformation is complete.
I told you, Tony, you never know where she's going, right?
You said that you don't like to take any extracurriculars, and you just basically microdosed with us on mushrooms with Tony.
Okay,
she's into the crystals.
Okay, I mean, look, there's a place for that in this world.
Yeah, there is.
There is a place, and if she's on it, she used to be an athlete at Cal Berkeley, playing tennis up there. So, shout out to Tony in Oakland. Waterman at Corner Madera. Waterman, what's happening?
You love that.
I love Tony.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's up, Waterman?
Welcome. How you guys doing?
Good.
Hey, real quick, two things. I've noticed Purdy's been wearing a brace on his elbow kind of between series. And I don't know if anybody's really talking about that. Is that a concern we need to have? Like, has he got major soreness, or is it just a precautionary thing?
I don't know. I haven't noticed it. That's the first I've heard of it.
They did it in the Seattle game, and they did it in the Eagle game. So from what, again, this is just from what I've gathered, it sounds like it's to warm up the elbow, because in the cold temperature, like a guy who has a bad knee in the cold temperature, you feel it more. Okay. I guess it's to keep the elbow warm. Right. But that was speculation and guessing based off of people that were around the situation.
Well, also, Troy Aikman on Monday Night Football against Minnesota said that Purdy said he still doesn't feel like his elbow is 100%. Troy Aikman kind of slipped that in during the broadcast on Monday Night Football too, and then a couple weeks later he's wearing the brace on the elbow.
Look, so the surgery is, what is he, 10 months out?
Yep.
So, it's like I would imagine Tommy John surgery, whatever they call it, fixing the ligament. It's going to feel like a new elbow.
Yeah.
Just like when you get your ACL repaired, like it takes a while before it's a new knee, it's a different knee, it looks different. And it feels different for a long time until you don't notice it anymore.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's go out to the line some more. These are good. I want everyone to get a piece of Baldy.
Let's go to Uncle Gene. Or no, this is just Gene in San Jose. Gene in San Jose.
Gene?
Hey, what's up, Baldy? I have a very specific kind of nerdy question. I watch a lot of JT O'Sullivan, and he's pointed out a motion that annoys him, and I see it every time now, so it annoys me. And it's when CMC is in the gun, and he's doing this lateral motion, like a
shuffle
and
that we were talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'd love to hear your thoughts, because I'm so confused on that too. Whenever I see it, I get frustrated. So just would love that.
Yeah. Let me provide some context. So JT O'Sullivan has been watching 49ers offense, and he's like, hey, look, my interpretation is how I came up playing football. And so there are certain things that don't make sense to me, and I want to know why they're doing it. Right. And so he doesn't like. There's a couple things. He doesn't like when they do the shuffle out because he's 5 yards back. He goes, why don't you just get to the line of scrimmage and start your route there? Because too many times they don't go far enough in terms of depth, and so there's an imbalance, and two wide receivers are running in the same area, and he doesn't like that in terms of optionality for the quarterback. But he admits they're clearly doing it for some reason, and he doesn't get why.
Well, I don't think they're finished with it yet. I think it's an evolving thing. Like you're gonna motion out the way he's doing, like he did against Nick Morrow last week on the wheel route. But then I can see him going out and then coming back. Like I just think like it's just a growing package right now.
Yeah.
Of how they're going to use it. They could pitch it, they could pitch it, reverse it, they could fake pitch it to him. Like I think it's just a way optically for the defense to go another thing to worry about. What's he doing by doing that?
Is this the brainchild of Mike McDaniel down in Miami? Because you see all the different motions they're running with Tyreek Hill. I've never seen it before, the way they motion Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Well, Tyreek has a new position. Like he literally, at the end of the line of scrimmage, he's curled up in a little ball behind, almost to the off the left tackle or the right tackle or the tight end, who's ever there, and he's looking back at Tua to see when he should go, and he's running every kind of motion you can run. And it's all option routes, but he's crouched down because you can't really see him. And so then you don't really know where he's going until he's going.
Yeah.
And so, like, nobody does that. Nobody has Tyreek, but nobody has come up with that yet.
What makes Tyreek, because I love watching the guy play football. The power, I feel like, is underrated when it comes to Tyreek. What are you seeing when you see that guy play? I mean, I know, like, there's been some, like, Jerry Rice played here. Like, he's, to me, gold standard. But in terms of, like, unique, explosive athletes who could go house on anywhere on the field from any formation, he's at the top of the list.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was a great track athlete at Oklahoma State. And, you know, I think he won the Big 12, you know, in the 200 or something. Like, he's an explosive athlete. But I think he's like Debo. Like, he could easily be a running back.
You think so?
Yeah. Like, I think he has all that stop-start vision. Like, you could put him back there, and you might see it at some point. But, you know, I think, he plays way bigger than his height.
He high points the ball for a guy that short.
Well, he has a, you know, it's like when Dennis Rodman was playing, you know, like he was the quickest jumper. Mm-hmm. He was 6'8", but he would out-jump guys all the time because he was very – his leaping ability was just quicker.
Yes.
And so Tyreek, when he goes up to get a ball – he's just out-jumping people, not because he jumps higher. He just jumps quicker and faster. And then so he plays way bigger than his height. And then everybody still just misjudges his speed.
Oh, his speed is just ridiculous. What he did, you were there last week.
Like, if he wanted to be a kickoff returner, like, he might be the best of all time.
Wow.
Really?
Wow. Wow. Love that. Let's go to Zach Rooney, 888-957-9570.
Just returning kicks.
Yeah, that'd give me a headache. That'd give everybody a headache. 888-957-9570. Ask Baldy anything. Let's go to Zach Rooney in Oakland.
Hey, Zach.
Zach Rooney, what's happening?
Hey, I got a Zach Rooney, baby.
What's up?
Uh-oh.
Hey, I know Tony, by the way, from the Rose Gardens. I've known her for 30
I can see
years.
you two hanging out. Yeah, for sure.
So now that we're here, Zach Rooney, what is Tony like in the Rose? First of all, where's the Rose Garden at? Yeah. What do you guys do at the Rose Garden? Are you guys playing catch? What are you doing at the Rose Garden?
She used to sit next to a guy named Saul Rubinger, who would say the most crazy, outlandish things to get her to laugh, and Tony would sit there laughing on the bench in the Rose Gardens on Euclid Avenue in Berkeley. And she's a good player, tennis. But, you know, used to talk about Q, you know, from Star Trek, and she loved Q and wanted Q to come into her life and so on.
All right, Zach.
Anyway,
have you been microdosing this morning?
What is going on here?
Have you been microdosing? Saul, well, he was a real character.
You sound like one too, Zach Rooney. What do you want to ask Baldy here before you get his fight? This is
Ronnie Bell fumbled that punt against the Eagles, and he had 3 other fumbles. I mean, he's going to hurt the team. Am I the only guy noticing? He's got some dog in him, but you know, he's going to hurt us with those fumbles, man. I don't know. Why am I the only guy who's noticed that Bell fumbled a huge amount for the touches he's got?
Okay. Well, I mean, it's a concern. Ball security is everything, especially in big games. We had a rookie punt returner. He was the number 1 pick when I was a rookie in Dallas, and he fumbled the punt in an NFC Championship game, and Washington had a 2-yard touchdown run.
Yeah. We know nothing about that, Kyle Williams.
Yeah, we're scarred out here at Baldy.
Sorry.
We are scarred.
That's true.